Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Julia. Welcome back to another episode of School Board Commentary. The last school board meeting was on the 15th of April. I'm sorry that it is taking me so long to make the commentary episode. I'm getting very pregnant and I'm very tired. If you see me bouncing, it's because I'm on the birth ball right now. So the April 15th school board meeting was very busy. There were a lot of people there, a lot of teachers there, because there's been drama going on with the teachers for a while now because they're having pay issues. The teachers wanted a 5% raise, cost of living raise, and the school district came back and said, how about 1.5, which is really low, and they're also raising their insurance premiums. And then they've had a third party come in, a third neutral party come in and say, and look at the numbers, and they came back and said, you can afford to give the teachers a 3.5% raise. And then the school district rejected that. So there were a lot of teachers who came to the meeting and gave a lot of sad, emotional, personal testimonials about how hard it is to live in this area of the country, and how hard they work and how unappreciated they feel. So we will watch some of those, and then also our local chapter had a big presence there. A lot of us were already there. Were 3 of us there. A lot of us were already planning on going, and then I saw the article from the Palm Beach Post about this, and I was like, it's going to be a busy meeting. And I was right. I got there early, and I was still in the back of the overflow room, So first thing we're going to watch is Gordon Longhofer. If you're not familiar, Gordon Longhofer is CTA president, and he gives a good kind of overview of everything that's been going on. It's a great speech. Gordon's a great public speaker. So without further ado, let's watch that.
My name is Gordon Longhofer, president of the Classroom Teachers Association. Tonight I rise in support of the recommended decision entered by the neutral special magistrate, the only unbiased party in this process, which is a 3.5% blended recurring raise for teachers in the 2026 school year. Why this package at this time? Let's review some facts. Palm Beach County is an A-rated school district again. We are designated as a high academic performing district again. We have 44 schools of excellence. Teachers are the only employee group whose singular task is student achievement upon which the district's accolades depend. Teachers are the only employee group whose pay is dependent upon student achievement. There is a negative gap of 7% between teacher pay raises and the rising consumer price index in Palm Beach County over the past 4 years. Palm Beach County's average teacher salary, regardless of how we calculate it, falls at a minimum $5,000 below the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics average of $74,000, and if calculated differently, it's further down than that. The cost of living index for Palm Beach County is 35 to 70% higher than the average cost of living in the United States. Housing is the single biggest driver of these costs, and a first-year teacher making $53,000 a year must spend half of their gross salary on rent alone for an average one-bedroom apartment in the county. The neutral special magistrate said that the district needs to raise salaries to keep its teacher salary structure at pace with inflation and close the 7% gap between salary increases and the CPI over the last 4 years, ending in August of 2025. He also stated an increase to base salary of 3.5% would cover inflation over the last 12 months and begin to close the gap from the previous 4 years. The special magistrate said 3% of the recommended 3.5% increase has already been funded for this year, so the remaining cost would only be about $5 million in 26. Further, he stated the recurring cost of about $20 million could be covered in the district's normal budgeting process. And finally, he said the recommended 3.5% increase should be to base salaries because bonus payments do not assist in keeping the teacher's pay structure at pace with inflation. None of these facts are in dispute. Included in those remarks are also some conclusions reached by the special magistrate on the evidence alone. When I read and considered what he had written, I quickly informed the superintendent that CTA had accepted that particular recommendation. Sadly, we were notified of a rejection by the district on Good Friday. I'm sure you can imagine how that made a number of individuals feel. If we want great schools, we must have great teachers, and they must be enabled to keep pace with inflation at a minimum. Looking at what remains ahead of us, my thoughts are about our teachers and their perseverance through this process. And yet I still believe there is an opportunity to speed this process up a little here at the last. If it were up to me, I would ask the superintendent to reconsider the rejection of the special magistrate's recommended order and accept it, then put it forward to you, recommending its adoption as the final order, allowing both sides to move quickly.
Thank you.
Great speech from Gordon. He gives a lot of very relevant facts to the issue. If you have opinions on this, please email your school board member. You know, your voice in our community matters. Something that I see conservatives talk about a lot is that there has been this exponential growth in administrative staff in public schools, but you haven't seen the same the same exponential growth in teachers, school librarians, or students, you know? So why do we have all this admin bloat? Maybe that's something that we could look into, our school board members should look into, so that we can pay the teachers. As Gordon says, they are the people who are solely dedicated to achieving this A rating that you guys are constantly bragging about, you know, and we need to take care of them. So there's no shortage at this school board meeting. The school board meeting is 4.5 hours long. There's no shortage of emotional testimonials from teachers. And we're just going to listen to one. I remember this woman because her name is also Julia, and she talks about her fertility timeline, which of course got me right in the feels, you know. So we'll listen to her, and then I will show you the 3 speeches from our chapter members, including myself, and we'll talk about that. All right.
Good evening. My name is Julia Moore, and I'm a teacher in my 9th year. I need to be direct with you tonight. I'm working 5 jobs to pay my rent. 5. And I'm still struggling. I work over 60 hours a week for this district, and a modest mortgage in this county costs $4,000 a month, nearly my entire take-home pay. Since I was a young girl, I knew I wanted to be a teacher. I knew teaching wouldn't make me rich, but I didn't think it would be a struggle to live day to day. I didn't think I'd have no time and no personal life to start my own family. I didn't think being dedicated to this career would force me to choose between my passion and my future. And yet here I am. I'm in my 30s, and I'm actively looking for jobs outside of teaching. Not because I don't love my students, but because I'm scared. I'm scared of being hit with another 11-day count mid-year that I didn't see coming. I'm scared of being forced to move schools again, wasting my money, my gas, my time, with no help from this district. I'm scared that if I stay in this field, I will never have time to find a husband and start a family before my biological clock runs out. Because I'm drowning. We give 7 hours of an exhausting educational performance every single day. Then we plan, prep, grade, do IEP paperwork, complete SBT packets, and contact parents, all for free. We do this because we care, but we cannot sustain it. Here's the math. Inflation is projected at 7%. You're being asked for a 3.5% raise. The special magistrate said it's balanced, practical, and fiscally responsible. The district can afford it. But let's be clear about what's really happening. You're not just losing a teacher's salary line. You're losing teachers. You're losing teachers who showed up, who cared, who gave everything, until they couldn't anymore. I'm urging you tonight, vote for a raise that reflects the reality of living in this county, not just for me, but for every teacher you're about to lose to burnout, to other professions, to the simple human need to have a life outside of work. The question isn't whether the district can afford to give teachers a raise. The question is, can you afford not to? Thank you for listening.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Julia Matthews. As was mentioned, it's National School Libraries Month. School librarians play an extremely important role in our school district and in the lives of our children. Because of this, it is important that leadership holds them to high standards. I'm here tonight to bring attention to issues going on, particularly with the elementary school librarians, that the community and the board might not be aware of. An audit I performed found a total of 48 unique titles available in at least one elementary school library that explicitly promote the affirming view of gender identity. I found exactly 0 books promoting the opposing or critical view. These collections irresponsibly manufacture the illusion of consensus on this issue. Poll data shows the population of people in this country who oppose gender identity affirming beliefs is large in number, and that there is nothing resembling consensus on this issue. This kind of thought control, intentional or not, through collection development is not only extremely unethical, it is also a direct violation of policy. Policy 8.12 states, quote, "The Library Media Center shall provide a wide range of materials on all levels of difficulty with diversity of appeal and with the representation of different points of view," unquote. This same policy also endorses the American Library Association's Library Bill of Rights. Article 2 of this document explicitly mandates that, quote, "Libraries should provide materials and information presenting all points of view on current and historical issues." How are the residents of this county supposed to trust this board to follow its policies if the employees it governs feel comfortable selectively following policy? I call on you, members of the school board, to ensure that our school librarians comply with policy by purchasing a variety of books explicitly promoting the critical view of gender identity. That might be difficult. Much of this problem stems from partisanship that has infected the American Library Association and many of the large publishing houses. If it can't be done, the only other ethical course of action would be to remove the books explicitly promoting gender identity affirming beliefs. Parents can teach their views on gender identity themselves. There are plenty of tense political issues such as abortion, gun rights, and immigration policy that are not represented in the elementary school library catalogs at all, regardless of viewpoint. The full audit can be found on the Moms for Liberty Palm Beach County chapter portal page. We also have a YouTube channel where you can learn more about this issue and other issues facing public education and parental rights. And please reward these professionals by meeting high standards by giving them fair pay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so comments about my speech. I am in a unique position to give you insights into my speech because I wrote it, right? I'm sorry that I ended up just sort of reading my speech off my phone. I had practiced it and stuff. I just, when I got there, I became very nervous. So I'll work on that for the next time that I go. And I made a whole kind of webinar style educational video that I'll put out, I guess, before the book club video comes out. So sometime before April 30th, I'll put that on the YouTube, where I made a whole hour-long video just talking more about this subject. And, you know, I see viral content online often of people going to school board meetings and reading from books with gender-affirming views and being like, isn't this ridiculous and horrific? And things like that certainly have its place. It's just not really my style.
Good evening, school board members. My name is Mrs. Munoz. Thank you for the opportunity to speak tonight. I am a Palm Beach County resident, ESC parent, and advocate. I also help champion with a statewide coalition of parents House Bill 615, the IEP bill, which passed unanimously in the Florida House and was filed by local state representative Tenridge and co-sponsored by local state representative Gerwig, Basib, Lopez, Trebosi, and Valdez. I am here to raise a call for clear, actionable solutions that strengthen the partnership between district and its families. In our district, families are experiencing IEPs not being implemented, a lack of communication about services, accommodations, and concerns not being addressed. These are not isolated issues. The point that needs to be made is that stronger enforcement needs to be made, clearer policies, and greater accountability. Under the Federal Individuals with Disability Education Act, IEPs must be implemented as written. These services and accommodations are not optional, and parents are a legal member of the IEP team. That means they must be informed, included, respected at every step. I also want to address the issue of trust. Parents should never feel that advocating for their child could result in retaliation against their ESE student. A healthy district-parent relationship depends on families feeling safe, heard, and respected. I do want to acknowledge the district's recent IEP parent orientation workshop as a positive step forward. However, this IDEA-funded training was offered only to a small group of parents. It was not publicly shared and was held during the day from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m., limiting access to working parents. As a result, only 9 parents attended this session that had room for 20. I am respectfully asking this board to take the following actions. First, establish IEP parent orientations as a district policy, ensuring that all ESE parents have full access to training on the IEP process. Second, require that all IEP parents' training, Zoom workshops, and resources funded through IDEA are publicly shared and accessible to every ESE family. Third, ensure that the district website clearly outlines IEP services, student rights, parental rights, so families are informed. These are acceptable steps under the federal IDEA law that will improve transparency, strengthen compliance, and rebuild trust. My goal is partnership. When the district and families work together with clarity and mutual respect, ESE students succeed. And I welcome the opportunity to collaborate and be a part of that solution, and I can be reached at fliepbill@gmail.com. Thank you so much for your time.
So Helena Munoz is our chapter chair, and she, her niche is IEP stuff, and so she's here talking about that. My favorite part of her speech is where she talks about how they did this training workshop for parents who have children of IEPs, and they held it in the middle of the workday. It ties in really well to everything the teachers are talking about affordability. It's like, it's expensive to live here. People have to go to work. Tell me you're an out-of-touch elite without telling me, you know? So I'm happy that she called them out on that.
Karina Rudeva, Palm Beach County. Good evening, members of the board. Thank you for your service to our students and families. Artificial intelligence is no longer a future concept. It is here in our classrooms. It has extraordinary potential to enhance learning, improve efficiency, and expand access to the information in ways we could have imagined even a few years ago. Used wisely, AI can be a powerful educational tool. But with that opportunity comes serious responsibility. We have already seen what happens when technology outspaces guardrails. Smartphones and social media were introduced with fully understanding their long-term impact on children. Today, we see rising anxiety, depression, and addiction. With AI, the stakes are even higher. This is why I'm asking you to adopt our AI proclamation. This proclamation does not reject innovation. It embraces it with boundaries. It affirms that parents have the fundamental right to direct the upbringing and education of their children. It ensures transparency about what data is collected and how algorithms are used. It protects student data from commercial exfoliation and profiling. It requires meaningful parental consent and oversight. Most importantly, it makes clear that AI must remain a tool to support learning and that the keys of the AI toolbox belong to the parents. No algorithm should replace a teacher's judgment. No platform should shape a child's worldview. No AI system should conduct or monitor or social emotional learning or provide mental health services to students. and no AI tool should operate without clear safeguards and accountability. This is about the balance of innovation with responsibility, progress with protection. By adopting this proclamation, you are sending a clear message. Technology will serve families in this district, not the other way around. You are affirming that transparency, student safety, and parental rights are non-negotiable. Our children deserve opportunity. They also deserve protection. AI can help with education, but only if we put proper boundaries in place now. I respectfully urge you to adopt this proclamation and lead with clarity, courage, and commitment to the families you serve. Thank you all.
And then we had Karina come out and read the AI statement. Moms for Liberty National has been very much promoting that the local chapters go to their school boards and talk to them about AI stuff, which is totally reasonable. AI is scary, and we need robust policies to deal with the way AI is going to change our students, the lives of the children of our county. Have you ever considered going to a school board meeting and talking about stuff? You know, Moms for Liberty is a parental rights organization, which is a broad topic, a broad umbrella of topic. And me and Helena both have a sort of niche within that umbrella that we're knowledgeable and care about. And then some people just sort of see the problems in public education, which are numerous, and are like, I care about this. I want to do something. I want to have relationships with people that also care about this stuff. And I want to do something. I just don't really know what it is I want to do. I haven't really developed my niche yet. This is kind of one of the reasons, as far as what I do on the YouTube channel, this is something I wanted to do. Is if you become informed, you can develop a niche that you care about, and focus on that. That's a big part of parental rights, you know. If we're talking about what are your rights, well, you have to know what they are, and you have to feel empowered enough to exercise them and to challenge people who are violating them, right? And that all starts with reading, with education, watching YouTube videos about it, becoming really informed. It's all an important part. That way you can feel confident in saying, that's a violation of my rights. That's a violation of policy. What is a government entity that doesn't follow its policies? Untrustworthy, you know. And that's important for the future of public education, for parental rights in general.